assistant conductors. Okay.
Would they have had some responsibility to monitor, or would they have contact with the engineer during the course of the performance of their duties?
Well, let me call on Mike Flanagan, who's the investigator in charge, to answer the specifics of that.
Well, in the passenger operation, the conductor and assistant conductors tend to the passengers' needs, pick up the tickets, make sure they're all right. The conductor does have some responsibility for the safe operation of the train, but the conductor is not necessarily monitoring the engineer and the performance of the train on a moment-by-moment basis.
That's something that you may recommend.
I'll let you talk about recommendations.
Well, we will, this whole investigative process ends with safety recommendations, and we look at all of the areas where we think recommendations would, if implemented, improve the safety. So we will certainly consider that in the course of deciding what recommendations to put forward. Yes?
Curtis here from Reuters. Do you have any more information you can share about the engineer's work history as an engineer?
At this point, the question is, do we have more information about the work history? And the answer to that question is simply, we are gathering that kind of information at the present time. In the back.
Alex Silverman, WCBS Radio. It's been reported that there was some sort of audible alarm that went off in the cab shortly before the accident. Can you comment on what that alarm was, if such an alarm existed, and what conditions would have triggered it?
So was there an alarm that went off prior to the accident? The answer is I am unaware of that. And again, it's early in the investigation process, but we will certainly be looking at signaling systems, alarm systems, warning systems.
You're not aware of the specific system that train had on board that would have triggered an alarm in some way?
I'm not aware of a particular alarm at this point. Way in the back.
Lydia Serrani with Fox 5 News. Say the conductor had a medical emergency. Is there some sort of backup person, backup plan that would go into effect to prevent this from happening? Because a lot of people didn't realize that this whole rested is the shoulders of one person.
So you asked if there was a backup conductor or backup engineer?
Conductor, like a second person, like a co-pilot, and a backup engineer, like you would have a co-pilot on a plane, or is there some sort of technological system in place that would prevent this from happening? Say if the engineer was having a medical emergency, is there some way that somebody could jump in and stop this from happening?
So the question is there some way that this can be operated with basically a second operator? The cab car is designed for operation by a single person, but there are other systems like the dead man switch, like an alerter switch, which have been put in there to assure that there is an operator paying attention. Yes?
Ida Siegel from WNBC, talking about the dead man switch. Can you explain exactly where it was located in this locomotive and how it was supposed to work versus what actually might have happened in this instance?
So the question is, how is the dead man switch configured? Where is it located?
Yes.
The train was being operated from the cab car with the locomotive pushing. The dead man switch is in the cab car for the left foot, and basically the operator is either sitting or standing holding his foot down on that. If he releases that, then the train goes into service braking.
What do you think happened in this instance, or do you know?
It's too early to tell exactly what happened at this point.
Pete Donahue from the New York Daily News. Have you tested that dead man switch? Has it been found to have been operable? Has that not been checked?
Well, the question is, has the dead man switch been checked? And the answer is the cars are being inspected now. So certainly that will be one of the things looked at. But again, the cars have just been moved as of 1 day ago into a secure location. Go back here.
Michael Hertzberg, New York One. What's the timeline for releasing information that you've garnered from the engineer about the interview?
What's the timeline for releasing information about the interview of the engineer? All of the interviews have to be completed before we release any information on any one of them. And that just depends on how fast we can get people, what access we have to them. So it often takes some time.
A follow-up to that, the engineer, has he retained a lawyer, and is that impacting the questioning of it?
Has the engineer retained a lawyer? The answer is I'm not aware of that. It's possible he may have. The interview process is well developed and quite structured. We've been doing this for quite a while. The interviewee is allowed to have one person join him. In many cases, that may be somebody from the union. It could be an attorney, but they're limited to one single person.
In his case?
In his case, I don't know. That has gone on basically as we speak. Yes.
Lisa Evers from Fox 5. From the physical evidence that you've been able to look at this point, was the engineer fully conscious at all times prior to the derailment?
Was the engineer fully conscious at all times? It's premature to be able to say yes, he was or wasn't. Again, that's what the investigation hopes to determine.
Number one.
One more?
Based on what you said so far about the systems and the brakes, everything seems to have been working as it's supposed to be. Are you leaning now that this was more because of human error than mechanical?
Are we leaning more towards human error versus mechanical? Frankly, we walk into an investigation like this and open up all of the possibilities. And then one by one, we try to say, this one is not likely, this one's not likely, and see what we're left with.
So is there anything you preliminarily
One in the back.
Following up on the question about an alarm, you said that you weren't aware of a speed alarm going off on this train. Are such alarms common on Metro North trains?
Are such alarms, a speed alarm, common?
That's something I don't think we've determined at this point. There may be a number of different systems that alarm, either part of the signal system or the mechanical equipment. That's something we'll look at, but I'm not in a position to say, chapter and verse which alarms might or might not occur.
Thank you very much.
As the investigation into Sunday's deadly train derailment continues, we're learning more about what happened. NTSB's Earl Wiener says the brakes showed no problems in the most recent round of testing, and no other equipment problems were detected. Alcohol tests came up negative. While the NTSB would not confirm it, sources tell us engineer William Rockefeller did not fall asleep and was not using his cell phone, but that he told investigators he did lose focus before entering a curve in the track. The source said the engineer was suffering from what some call highway hypnosis. Event data recorders show the train was traveling at 82 miles an hour as it went into a 30-mile-an-hour curve. Now, FSB sources tell us by the time Rockefeller, the person was, quote, pulled to consciousness, it was too late to do anything. The NTSB says the train's brakes were fully applied only 5 seconds before the engine came to a stop at the end of the crash. Today, Governor Cuomo released a statement saying he's devoting every resource to get trains back to normal. He also said he's requiring safety briefings for all MTA employees. 4 people died and dozens were injured in the crash. We'll, of course, have more later.
I've always seen No-No on TV, and I always wondered if it worked. And it definitely, I can see what everybody talks about now.